Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully and Bob Spitz coming to you live from Drive. And today we have a special guest, Todd Hedrick of Patriot Auto Repair. Welcome, Todd. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So
where are you located, Todd?
Actually, I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
That's right.
Yeah. It's beautiful weather out here this weekend, 70 degrees, no clouds, beautiful.
That's great. And so how long have you been in business, Todd?
I've actually been with this business for 10 years. 10 years this year. I had a business previously for about 9 years, but I've been doing this for about 40 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, if I understand,
so you're getting the hang of it now.
No. Every day is a learning experience.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's so true. Now, if I understand your history correctly, you got into auto repair through the military. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was 17 years old, had to have a signature from my dad. I decided I want to go in the military. It was the best thing I ever did. Did 8 years in the Army as a mechanic and in infantry. And I was in the 4th Infantry Division here at Fort Carson, and pretty proud of that. And I loved it. I probably should have stayed in. I did 8 years. But you know, when you're young like that, it's another 12 years is a long time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you very much.
Sure.
And so I also had, as I was looking at your bio, you've got quite a number of certifications as a technician, and
I've done this
so on.
Yeah.
Lots of training.
Actually, when I got out of the military as a mechanic, I went to American Tech down in Phoenix, which started me out. And just put my nose to the grindstone, studied, and I really like computers. In fact, one of my hobbies is building, modding and stuff, computers. But back in the day, I was really intrigued with computers. So it kind of led me to the diagnostic drivability portion of the industry. And I mean, everywhere I went, I just tried to dig in information and how to fix cars. And, the bathroom was lined with Motor Trend and Motor Age and all the magazines, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I lived and breathed it for quite a while.
How did your training in the military, your mechanical training in the military, translate to civilian?
Not a whole lot. Military training is a lot echeloned. You do certain things. I was basically a lube tech probably in the military, bearings and stuff like that, and service work. And then when you got into the engine work and stuff, they prioritized that and sent that off to a different echelon. But I mean, as far as the discipline and that sort of thing, I definitely, and the organizational skills.
Sure.
I still actually use, back when I was in the military, we did class 1, class 2, class 3 leaks, and a class 1 leak was just residue. Class 2 was forming a drip. Class 3 would deadline the vehicle.
A gusher.
We call it. Yeah. Call it deadline in the vehicle. We'd have to take it off the line. And I still use that today. So, it has still, I've still got some of my tools from back then.
Uh-huh.
That's great. And so tell us a little bit about how things have gone for you in your business. You said you've been in business about 10 years. And how long have you been with Drive?
I've been with Drive only since April.
Okay. So that last 10 years, how'd that go? As far as what brought you to us?
Well, it's you see a lot of mechanics. I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to do it. I can work on cars. I can fix cars. And of course, that's what everybody thinks. You get in there, and it's a different show. And I had been through this before. I opened up when I got out of the military, I opened up a shop and I had it for a fairly decent time, 8 or 9 years, and ended up losing it just because I didn't know, what I was doing. But I had a really good business going. I just didn't know how to run it.
Hmm.
I had all the clientele and the mechanics and the place, and I just didn't know how to run it.
And the dog was dragging you around the block.
It was. So I said, I'll never do it again. And so I did it again.
Well, I'm glad you did.
So, but it started dragging me around the block again. And again, I built up the business, got the clientele, had the shop, had the reputation, but it was killing me. It was literally killing me. And it finally got to a point where I told my wife, I said, this isn't what I wanted. This, I wanted to have some freedom and not have a heart attack every week, And I said, this isn't what I wanted. And divine intervention, I got a call from you guys, and I talked to my wife about it, and I said, we need this. I said, this is what we need. This is either gonna make us or break us, because I'm either gonna shut down the shop or we're gonna try this and we're gonna go full force and make it happen.
Yeah.
And
well, the skills needed to run a business are very different than the skills needed to diagnose and fix a vehicle.
That's it, and it's hard to tell somebody that when, even after I'd lost my business the first time, the second time I thought, well,
I can figure this out.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I know how to do it now.
Well,
I know what not to do. But
that's part of the nature of being a shop owner too, though, is you solve problems every single day. So why not be able to solve that one too?
Right. But you can only juggle so many balls. That's
exactly.
how I can put it. And you get so many balls going, you're going to drop balls. You're going to drop 2 balls. You're going to drop 3 balls. And that's what would happen. I would do really good profitability wise, or I won't say profitability, I say I'm making money. But then my marketing would go to crap. Business would decline. We'd get deader in the door now. And then I'm taking what money we did have to try to make up for that. And then I jump in the marketing side. And then my the mechanic portion suffers, vice versa. Or I go to run in the front, then the business suffers. And it just, you can't do them all. It's just impossible.
It is impossible.
That's right.
And we have a name for that. It's called Mach 2. You're running around Mach 2 with your hair on fire.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I was. I got to the point because we were really busy, but I had no control whatsoever. I was jumping from one thing to another. And I tell you, I've only been with you guys since April, but when we come back from the expo and stuff, I told my wife, I said, I don't know how I did it before. How did I even have a business?
Sure, guts and grit.
Well, I'm getting too old for it now. I gotta work smart.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's right.
We have a saying around here, and that is, the great thing about owning your own shop is there's no one there to tell you what to do. And the horrible thing about owning your own shop is there's no one there to tell you what to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
So having a coach is a smart thing.
It's a great thing. It's been, at the very least, it's something, in the back of your head, you've got somebody that's got your back that you can call, and you're not like, I'll tell you my very first scenario with that was I was too busy for 2 guys or however many guys. And then I was not enough busy, or I was not enough busy for another guy. You know, that's where I felt. That's where I was.
Yeah.
And I just, you go back and forth. Can I afford another guy? Can I do this? And then what do you pay him? You know, the pay scale on these technicians, a good one, is outrageous now. You know, what do I do? And if you make that leap, you know, you're bound to somebody. You're obligated. They've got a family. You know, you got to take care of them and make it happen. So what do I do? And you've got that. You know what? Call my coach up. Hey, this is where I'm at. And he says, you know, well, this is this much. You make this much, and you have this much. It's your labor. You know, and do all the numbers, and well, you can afford a guy at this amount. And, you know, you probably want to start him out a little less, and that way you can work your way up, and, you know, just the whole thing. And it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Right.
And then,
You know something needs to be done. You can see something needs to be done, but you're not sure if you do it, what will happen.
didn't know how to implement it. And once that was taken care of, throwing an ad out there and hiring somebody, I was confident when I hired him. I felt good when I hired him. I wasn't scared. I'm like, you know, when he walked out the door, I was like, man, I hope I can afford him. You know,
Mhm.
it was like,
You knew you could.
It's going to work.
Right.
Yeah. Hope he's a good guy, you know, hope he's a good technician and stuff. Because it wasn't thinking about, oh my gosh, can I afford him? Am I going to be able to keep him on, you know?
Mhm.
So it's a big change.
That's great. Yeah.
Now, I know that since you've been with us, you've done a number of our workshops, our action coaching workshops. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned, how that's gone for you.
Well, I tried to take as many as I could. I jumped in, probably got a little over my head, but it was just keeping track of them. That was the big part with everything else going on. Really good, because I got a lot from the other owners, other shop owners, you know, especially, you know, where to go with my software, how they were doing their front end, what they were using, just tons of input on everything. And then I could, you know, even ask them, you know, what do you think of that? What do you think of this? What's the downside? What's the upside? And each one, you know, you ask a mechanic how to fix a car, and you ask 5 mechanics, you'll get 5 different ways. So it's the same way as the kind of shop owners, you know, they have their way of doing things, the way they were done. And so you take all that in, and then you put something together that works for you. And since April, I have changed everything in my shop. I've changed the point of sale, the bookkeeping, the advertising. I mean, everything. We have hit this with their feet on the ground. I mean, we really changed a lot of stuff, and it was all from the input of other businesses and how they were successful and that sort of thing. And it's really been great. It's really been
Yeah. It's nice to know you're not alone out there, isn't it, Todd?
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. You know, that was probably one of the most stressful things. Is you know, you're juggling all the balls, and your wife's looking at you like, come on, you got to make this happen. This has to work, and no pressure, right? But when you have other people you can talk to and turn to, and your coach, and it just takes the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
You still have the responsibility, but you can make an informed decision, you know. So
Yeah. You know, we've always prided ourselves at Drive to having a heck of a great community of like-minded shop owners.
well, it was fun
Anxious
down
to
at
help
the
each
Expo.
other.
Little intimidating down at the expo. Some of those guys are big wigs.
Oh, you'll get there.
So my wife, look, we're hobnobbing with the big time down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did you think of
you
the
know what?
expo?
It was great. And those guys, they're just like any other guy, they didn't think they were, something special or anything. They sat there and they talked with you, and they actually enjoyed giving you, you know, their versions of how they did stuff. And they even say, it might not work for you, but this is how we do it. And they were great. They were all great, no matter how big the shop they had. We were all
That's awesome.
like brothers. Yep. And sisters.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, what are your plans going into the future?
Well, I'm just staying on the same trajectory. I want to get it all. We're fine tuning everything, and I tell you, luckily, and praise God, I got with you guys in April because of course I went to Florida because of the expo, but I was gone for a week or so, and we stayed down there and had a few days vacation stuff. But then I came back and got the COVID, and so I was out, over 10 days with the COVID. So we were gone almost 4 weeks, and the shop did well.
Isn't that nice?
Yes,
That's awesome. Now,
it spoiled me.
on that note, would you have thought back in March or April that you could be gone for 3 or 4 weeks and still have a shop standing?
No way. No. I was the kind of guy that was, unfortunately, I was the guy that was looking over the tech's shoulders, running up, even when I had a service writer up there, I was behind him talking to the customers while he's talking to them, back and forth. And that was one of the things I learned with drive is when I got back there with the techs, being a drivability diagnostic guy, it's easy for me to contemplate, how the car works and doing drivability and all that stuff. So I'm pretty good at just putting things together and kind of coming up to a pretty good conclusion of what's going on with it and stuff. So my techs would use me. They would, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? So I would even go in there to do something, marketing or something on the books or something. And one of them would come up to me, what do you think about this? Next thing you know, I'm working on the car.
Right.
Yeah, we call that the dad syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I'm stuck there all day.
Right.
And then it might turn into a mess. And then I'm stuck there tomorrow. And I was working on cars. So he's standing around watching me work on his car.
Yeah. And you're paying him.
That I'm paying him for.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting my stuff done.
Tough one, Dad. Let me know if you need any help.
But it's easier for them to do that. And then
Sure it is. If you let them,
If you let them out, they'll do it all the time.
and if I try to do a quickie diagnosis, it's like, well, most of the time it's this, that's it looks like this. Well, next thing you know, they just call it. That's what the boss said.
Yep.
And then if it didn't fix it, guess whose fault it is?
Yours?
It's mine. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what he said.
Yep.
It's a hard job to give up as a shop owner, but you gotta.
Yes, you have to. And I think I put in more hours working on the business than I did there, but it's more enjoyable because I have freedom and I have, I can mold it to, what I actually intended it to be in the first place.
That's
That's
great.
great.
Do you remember Kevin from Seller's Garage from the expo?
Yeah.
He gave you a shout out and said, reach out to him anytime.
Oh, I appreciate that. Those guys were awesome.
Yeah,
I was
Kevin's
a little
an awesome guy.
intimidated, but they all just kind of took me in. So it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, you planning to go to the expo coming up? I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be there.
Yeah, it's an easy drive. Heck, it's going to be in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Just roll down the hill.
I've only been there one time. I thought, well, I'll go. It was my niece's wedding. She got married July 4th in Vegas.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
So needless to say, I didn't have a real good time. It was 132 on my Uber car temperature.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah, not the
So
time
I
to go
said,
to
I'll
Vegas.
never go to Vegas again, but September's probably a good time to go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's a great
it's
time.
actually a nice time in Vegas. So
There's a lot of things to do. It's pretty nice.
yeah, definitely no shortage of activities in Las Vegas. That's for sure.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in 5 years, Todd?
Oh boy.
Kevin hasn't gotten you going on your 5-year plan yet, has he?
No.
Okay, well, we'll get you going.
Trying to get through this year. But I tell you what, there's been a lot of changes this year. Been really, really busy. But I think after this year, things are going to be really, really good. And who knows? Who knows? I might get a second wind and want to open another shop or something.
Hey, a lot of guys are doing it.
So always an option.
Depends on, I don't know, maybe some politics change.
Yeah, make it more friendly.
We won't get into that, but I seen what the Dow did today, so that's kind of
It's like, it'll come back.
yeah. That's
always
everybody
does.
says they're in it for the long haul and they're not worried and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you just never know. I think I would like to enjoy having complete control of everything for a little bit before I try to open up a new one.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been working on this. I opened my first one when I was 24. I don't think I've ever had a moment of peace since. I think when this all gets done, and I think it's going to happen by the end of this year, I'm going to relax for a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll give you 24 hours.
Yeah, I want to get back and smell the roses just for a little bit and just kind of look upon what I've done and what we've done, I guess.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'm tracking. I mean, getting the shop to a good solid state where you're able to come and go as you please and enjoy the fruits of your labor is certainly a fine goal to set.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I mean, no matter you have to work for it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the tools to do it, you're
Oh yeah.
busting your head on the wall.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's why we're here.
A lot of years I did that. And like I said, it got down to, this is it. We're either going to have this business and do this and do everything they tell us to do, or I'm done. I was done. I just couldn't do the up and down thing anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds like you've made some great progress over the last few months, and it's really great to hear. And we're here to help you the rest of the way to achieving your goals. And yeah, congratulations on where you've gotten to so far.
Yeah, it's. I wish I'd have kept a diary. Because a lot of things have changed.
Okay.
And I've probably forgotten some of them, but it's just every day it's something new and something that I learn and it just keeps getting better. So
well, you can start your diary now, moving forward.
Yeah. I missed a lot of stuff.
It's not too late to start.
That's right.
That's for sure.
Yeah, in just a short time though, it's been a lot of stuff and it's been all for the good.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're part of the community, Todd.
Thank you. I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah. All right. And we're Boy, this half hour just went by very quickly. We're coming up on our time. So I want to thank you again, Todd, for joining us. It's great to hear of your success. And for everybody out there, next week's show is going to be, we're going to be talking about the Drive Playbook app and how to use it to its full potential. And everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right. See you, Todd, at the next
All right.
action workshop.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a great
Thank
weekend.
everybody. It was nice to meet everybody down in Florida.
Okay.